Now, if you think about the current state of the application, there's still a huge security problem, which is that we're only verifying that users are logged in. We're not verifying their identity as the particular user associated with the account. So right now, any user could edit any other user. Of course, there's only one in our development database. But still, this is a potentially huge problem. And in the spirit of what I just said, we're going to write a test first to catch this problem. And then we're going to make sure that the user trying to edit a particular page, like this, here, is in fact the user associated with the page. Why didn't that work? Oh, because I changed the information, didn't I? So this here, we want to make sure that users can only edit their own profiles. So this is what the test would look like. Something like this. Test should redirect edit when logged into the wrong user. So we want to log in as some other user. Say at other user. But of course, we don't have another user right now, so let's take care of that. Let's look at our users.yaml. What we want to do now is define a second user here in the test database. So we just copy this here. So our second user will be named Archer. Name Sterling Archer. Email Duchess at example.gov. And remember, we standardized on the same password for every user here in the test database. So now we can go over here, save that, and other user is users of the symbol corresponding to that user, which is Archer. I'd like to line these up. All right, so now we have an other user, log in as that user, and then get edit, oops, the symbol, and we need to give it an ID. This ID is just this here. Look over here. That's this here. It takes a little experience learning how to build up these URLs inside the controller test, because in the integration test, we can just use the helper, just use the route, the named route. But here we actually have to go a little bit lower level. So if we do this, we should get the same behavior. We should be redirected to the login URL. Save that. We should go red. In fact, let's just do 2 at a time. This is the way I would really do it. I would probably just write both of these. Let's remember to change this time. Last time I forgot. I almost said we forgot, but of course you probably remembered. You probably noticed, but I did not. In this case, log in as other user, and we can just copy this, the same thing, the same patch request to the update action, and the same behavior. So what we've done here is we've logged in as the wrong user, and then we're trying to hit the edit and update pages for the first user, and we want that to be the same sort of access control problem. We should redirect to the login URL and require that the user log in. And actually it just occurred to me that's not the behavior we want. If you think about it, this is the sort of thing here that is a perfectly normal thing. Like someone might just roll into the website or like paste in the URL, but then turn out not to be logged in. But here, this is someone trying to edit a page that doesn't belong to them. So instead of encouraging them to log in, we want to discourage them from doing this. So instead of redirecting to the login URL, let's redirect them to the root URL. We will not put a flash message in either. We didn't test for that up here. Maybe we should actually. Well, actually, no, we tested for the flash over here. We're already testing for that. Right. Oh, no, we're not. We know we should test for that. We should do this. We should say assert not nil, not empty. So flash.empty. And put that here as well. And then down here, we can assert that these are empty flashes. Save that. All right, we're red as required. So now we want to add another filter here. We have before action logged in user. Now let's define a second before filter. Here we have logged in user. Let's do before action correct user. And again, it's only edit and update. Go down here. So how do we test if the user is right? Well, first of all, we need to grab the user out of the params. Remember, we have params of ID. We actually didn't look at that, but of course, because of this /1 in the URL, we've got ID of 1. So pull out params of ID. And then we want to make sure that the user, this at user, is the same as the current user. So remember, we've already protected this and made it required that the user be logged in. So that means that there should be a current user. So we can do this. We can redirect to the root URL unless this user that we just pulled out of the database here is equal to the current user. I'll save that, and we should be green. Great. Now that we've got this passing, I'd like to add a minor refinement. I really like to have a helper for this. I feel like it's just a little more elegant to write something like this, unless current user, question mark at user. So unless this user is the current user, redirect to the root URL, and so let's take a look at the sessions helper where I'm going to put this. Doesn't really matter too much where we put it. Let's put it after remember. And this should take a user variable and get rid of that at there. So this returns true if the user here, which is the argument, matches the current user. So if we save this and then save this, we should still be green. Great. So this is exactly the sort of thing. It's really error prone, just getting all the little details right. It's so great to have a test suite. There's one more thing I want to do that is also the sort of thing that is great to have a test suite for. You might notice now that I'm pulling an at user out of the database, which means that I can get rid of these lines here. You can see there's some duplication here, or there's an at user being pulled out. But both of these edit and update actions are being filtered through this correct user before filter. So that means that they're getting access to this instance variable, this at user. So I can actually get rid of these, and the test suite should still be passing. So that's very promising. Let's run the whole thing just to be double sure. All right. It's always nice to try that out in the browser. Let's do that. And actually, I want to change this back. Let's just do this. Save the changes, and then, that's weird, I thought I already saved that password, but let's log out. And I'm going to sign up as a second user. Just use my main, so I'm just reusing this, that's why I got rid of it. Create my account, and now I'm going to try to go to /users/1/edit. So I should be able to do this. Let's go to /user/1. So this is fine. I'm a logged in user. I should be able to look at profiles of other users. But if I go to /user/1/edit, redirected. Redirected without a flash. Right? That was not something that I should have been doing. By the way, this is a good example of a case where an automated test is even better than a browser, because it would be really difficult to issue a patch request directly to the update action. And the reason is because the way to do that is by going to this form, right? Going to well, in this case I can go here. It's easy enough to issue this patch request as the right user, but remember, we're redirecting the edit page, so I can't even get to the form. So to do this in a browser, you'd probably have to edit the JavaScript or something. I'm not even sure how you do it. The easiest way would probably be to drop down to a terminal and issue a request with a command line client. But inside a test, we can just do this. We can just say patch, update, and then verify the right behavior. This is in really great shape. We've made major progress here with a nice security model and everything.